There it is, little birdie point. Still needs to be sharpened if I'm going to use it. Little bit of a tail on this side. But there it is. Alright guys, I'm going to try and take this small piece that broke off the tip of that last one, excuse me, and see what I can do to turn it into something functional, maybe a little birdie. So just going to pressure flake it. Just into shape. My pressure flaker could probably be a little bit sharper, but it's not, so that's what we have to deal with. Should be doing more flaking than grinding, but sometimes you need to do the grinding. Okay. Go to this big, thick base right here, which is where it broke off. And I'm going to try and thin that off, or thin that out rather. Again, I probably should sharpen my tool, but I'm not going to. It will grind though, because that helps tremendously, the grinding. Oop, dropped it. Yes, that grind, excuse me, really helped. Yep, gotta grind again. I don't always use the notch in my pad. Sometimes with these thinner points, you don't really want to use the notch. You just have to work off the pad. Okay. So now I'm going to zigzag. Kind of cheating, but whatever. Get some sharp and pointy. So the reason that I'm zigzagging, you know, for those of you that don't know, it's because that edge is flat, and with the larger flat edges you can kind of pressure flake into them and get some flakes, but sometimes on these smaller edges you just don't have the real estate. So, you know, even though this is completely flat, not sure if you can see that or not, it's better off just to zigzag. You create that sharp edge instead of driving flakes straight in. You're just, you know, I don't know how to explain it other than zigzagging, and it creates that sharp edge. And if you want to work off that, thin it, you can, but usually when you get to the point of zigzagging, it's just, you know, that's your final step. I mean, you can grind and work the edges if you want. Alright, let's just be really careful here. I don't want to take this for granted. End up snapping it. This is going to be a nice thin point. Really happy about this. So this is just a good example of how you can take a nice flake that you think is trash, and you can turn it into a very, very usable point. Right now I'm just doing some shaping. And if this is going to be a necklace, certainly could grind this down. Even a point, really, I can grind this down because it could always be resharpened at a later date. Yep. And I think after this, that's what we'll do. Yep. Alright, so let's go ahead and grind this off, because you can always resharpen these after the fact if you need them to be sharp. And the fact of the matter is that even if you're kind of traveling with these in a survival situation, you're almost always going to need to resharpen these before you use them, unless they're already hafted onto an arrow and you have that arrow you know, protected. Alright, so let's put some notches in this thing and let's call it good. I think I'm going to try and put some forward side notches in here. And I like to do two passes and then switch to the other side. And the reason I do two passes is because, you know, the first side, I don't know how to explain it, but you know, you get that downward motion, and then the second pass kind of fixes it, turns it into a notch. So that's what I do. This one actually, yeah, I'm notorious for making my notches sort of offset. I don't know why. I need to work on it. Need to use that horseshoe nail that Dave Tembear sent me. I have a bad habit of not keeping my hand against my leg like I should. That's best practice, but like I said, I have a bad habit of not doing that. Excuse me. Okay, I think I got myself a little birdie. Yep, should have been a lot bigger with what I had to start with, but that's what we ended up with, so. You know, those flake points probably could have come out with something a little bit bigger, but you know, I kind of think the quality of the point, you know, might supersede the length of the point. And you know, with those flake points, sometimes it can be difficult to, you know, make them bifacial. Sometimes they tend to turtle on one side. So, for better or for worse, this is what we got tonight. Yep, got it out of that flake. I've got a bunch of big stones that we can break down. You know how much I love to break down big stones. But, you know, being that it's cold like this, trying to do as much as I can you know, safely. You know, I don't want to breathe in too many, you know, too much dust, you know, silicosis and all, but I still want to work some stone, so I took this flake, and this is what we got. So, looks a lot better off the camera, but that's what we have. So anyway, I appreciate you watching, and you know, thanks. Pale Greenbird signing out. There it is, little birdie point. Still needs to be sharpened if I'm going to use it. Little bit of a tail on this side. But there it is.